Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. King?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record then in file 23-21419-FH, People versus Derek Eugene King. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir.
Phoebe Muir, on behalf of the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. King this morning, Your Honor.
And Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. King's case today?
Your Honor, I don't believe we have the transcripts yet, but we are looking into various issues, Your Honor, and I would say a pretrial late November, early December.
Okay, Ms. Muir, anything to address from the people side?
No, Judge. Has the transcript been ordered in this case?
I believe it has.
Okay.
It has back on September 6th, so I would think we'd have that in the day now.
Thank you.
Okay, so we could do November 29th at 8:15 for another pretrial.
I'm sorry, what was that date, Your Honor?
November 29th.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I will do the stipulation.
Okay, thank you then, Mr. King. You can let the officer of the truth know that you are done with court for today.
Okay, thank you. Good day.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Ms. Viddy's case?
I'm sorry?
Are you ready to proceed with Ms. Viddy's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, I believe Christina Conrad is in the waiting room. If you could pull her in. Oh,
Yeah,
there she
just
I think there's
All
some
right, we
confusion on this. I believe, did we have a pretrial on this on September 27th? I was under the impression this was a VOP trial. Ms. Underwood believes it's a pretrial.
yeah. Well, it's not a trial. I'm not going to do a trial on a Wednesday morning, so.
Okay.
All right, so we're on the record in files 21-20470-FH and just 21-20470-FH, People versus Samantha Jo Viddy. We are here today for a hearing on a probation violation. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Viddy dropped out of the meeting, so give me just a moment.
There she is.
All right, Ms. Viddy, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so again, we're on the record in file 21-20470-FH, People versus Samantha Jo Viddy. We're here today for a hearing on a probation violation. Ms. Underwood, do you want to place your appearance on the record?
Rhonda Underwood for Ms. Viddy this morning, Your Honor.
All right, and how does Ms. Viddy wish to proceed today?
We would like to set this matter for trial, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Clark, can you find us the first available, probably about an hour for a probation violation trial?
October 31st at 11 a.m.
Any issues with that date and time?
It looks like it works for me, Your Honor.
That'll be fine, Your Honor.
So October 31st at 11 a.m., we will set it for trial on that date and time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else to address today, Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Vitti, you can go ahead and log out. Oh, William Hollis. All right, Mr. Miller, we're calling for Mr. Hollis right now.
We have William Hollis and the judge, please. Thank you.
All right, for the person that just joined the meeting that's outside wearing a stocking cap, can you tell me your name?
Carly Frank.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear that. Can you say that again?
Carly Frank.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, let's see. Ms. Frank, I don't see your attorney logged in yet, so I'm going to place you back in the waiting room until we have your attorney.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Sorry, Ms. Hennigan, are you attorney for Carly Frank?
I am, Your Honor.
Do you need a breakout session with her?
Yes, please.
All right, Ms. Frank, I apologize. Your attorney was here, so I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Ms. Hennigan right now. Okay, Mr. Glazier, Mr. White Eagle is here in person. Do you need a breakout session with him?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I don't even have what the contempt of court's for. We didn't get any paperwork on it, at least.
All right. We'll send you a copy of the show cause order, but I can tell you it is the allegations that defendant tested positive for methamphetamine from a drug screen collected on October 2nd, 2023 at Lenawee County Drug and Alcohol Monitoring.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a copy of it.
Okay. Mr. Whitey, if you'll step out to the hallway, there's an iPad out there that you can talk to Mr. Glazier on. Yes, sir. Sergio, the camera got shut off and it's muted again. Could you go take care of that, please? Thank you. Mr. Malero, while we're waiting for
Jenna's not on. Okay. I think it's Phoebe Meir.
Judge, could I do a breakout with McCready, the guy down the bottom of the screen?
Breakouts.
Yeah, I can do that. Give me just 1 second. Let me put Mr. Glazier and Mr. White Eagle in a room.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
And then I can you and Mr. Ray.
Graduate high school. Oh, hey. And muted. And then.
Yeah, good morning there. Can you all right, is this Mr. Cecil?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Cecil, I'm going to place you in a breakout session with Mr. Lyons.
All right.
Okay, Ms. Hennigan, are you ready to proceed with Ms. Frank's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we are on the record then in file 23-21418-FH, People versus Carly Lynn Frank. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Meir.
Phoebe Meir on behalf of the people.
Mayor Hennigan on behalf of Ms. Frank.
All right, and Ms. Henkin, where do we stand with Ms. Frank's case today?
Your Honor, Ms. Frank would like to set this for a jury trial. And we'd like to have a scheduling order established this morning.
All right, Ms. Meir, how long do you anticipate needing for trial?
Give me 1 second, Judge, because I think there's a co-defendant who we may be seeking to consolidate with, but I will double check which file this is. Judge, we probably need 2 full days for trial on this. And there is a co-defendant, but we can do a motion to consolidate those.
Okay, Ms. Clark, can you find us a 2-day jury trial date, please?
Yes, Judge.
It's frozen. My computer's frozen. All I can do is talk.
Tuesday, March 12th at 9 a.m. and Wednesday, March 13th at 10:30 a.m.
Those both work for me.
Ms. Meir, does that work for the people?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's do a final pretrial then on February 6th at 8:15. And the court will issue a scheduling order. Is there anything else we need to address with Ms. Frank's case today?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
No, thank you.
I do have one thing. It looks like our file, we don't have fingerprint information yet, so I'm going to sign an order for fingerprints. So Ms. Frank, if you've already had them taken, you need to contact the agents, the arresting agency, and have them transmit that information to us. If you haven't had them taken, you need to go to the arresting agency and have them take your fingerprints and transfer that information to us for our file.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so you can go ahead and log out. Your next date is February 6th at hang on. I apologize. I meant to say March 6th for a final pretrial, not February 6th.
And that's at 8.
March 6th. Correct. March 6th at 8:15 for the final pretrial. March 12th and 13th for the trial.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You can go ahead and log out then.
Thank you.
Mr. Glazer, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Whiting?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
So Whiting, you want to come forward and sit at the table, please? All right, we are on the record in file 23-21423-FH. People versus John F. Kennedy White Eagle. We are here today for arraignment on an order to show cause for an alleged violation of bond conditions. Sir, you are John F. Kennedy White Eagle. Can you speak a little louder, please?
Yes, sir, that's me.
Have you received a copy of the order to show cause?
Through the mail, yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Through the mail, yes, sir.
Okay. The order to show cause alleges that you violated your bond conditions by testing positive for methamphetamines from a drug screen collected on October 2nd, 2023 at Lenawee County Drug and Alcohol Monitoring. The maximum penalty for contempt of court is up to 93 days in jail or up to $7,500 in fines. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney with respect to this contempt and any other proceedings that we might have or alleged contempt and any other proceedings we might have on this issue. And if you can't afford your own attorney, you can tell me that now. I'll appoint one for you at public expense. Mr. Glazier represents you on the underlying case. Do you want him to represent you with this as well? Okay, Mr. Glazier, you want to place your appearance on the record?
John Glazier on behalf of Mr. White Eagle.
And you've had an opportunity to speak to Mr. White Eagle. Do you know how you would like to proceed?
Yeah, Your Honor, he's coming up for a sentencing on November 2nd. We are going to ask to adjourn this for a pretrial on that same date. We'll take care of it on that date. Mr. Eagle is still white. I just would let the court know Mr. White Eagle is still testing. He had the one positive test. He doesn't have any positive tests since that time. And he's enrolled in, you're enrolled in counseling, Mr. White Eagle?
Yes, I am enrolled in counseling as well as one-on-ones.
Where's that at?
Catholic Charities with Miss Jessie Holdridge.
Okay, and you said you're testing twice a week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what we'd like to take care of it all when he gets sentenced on the 2nd, Your Honor. If the court has no objection to that.
All right, so I'll set it for a pretrial on November 2nd at 8:15 to go along with the sentencing in this case. I would, I guess, just caution you, Mr. White Eagle, I'm glad to hear that you've got negative tests since then. But if there are additional positive tests, then, obviously I've got to do something. Okay. All right, so we'll set it for November 2nd at 8:15 a.m. And we'll see you back then. Okay, thank you. You're set for today. Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Glazier. Oh, no, you don't have it. Mr. Malera, we have Harold Outley is here while we're waiting for Mr. Hollis, if you want to speak to him.
Yeah, Judge, could I do a breakout with him? Won't take long.
Yeah, give me just a second here to come in and get that set up.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Outley, I'm going to place you in a breakout session with Mr. Malera. Okay, Ms. Underwood, Mr. Torres is here. He is in the hallway.
I will be right up, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. Lyons, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Cecil?
Yes, I am, Your Honor, and I've got a couple of questions for brother and sister. Prosecutor.
They get done.
All right. We are on the record then in file 22-21085-FC, People versus Andrew Cecil. We are here today for a pretrial conference. In this case, we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place your appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Wise.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise and Doug Hartong on behalf of the people.
What do you want? I mean, please, the court, George Lyons on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Cecil.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Mr. Cecil, I muted the microphone in your room because it's causing feedback here and it's making it hard for me to hear. So if you need to speak, wave your hand or something and we'll get that unmuted for you. All right, so Mr. Lyons, you've just recently been appointed. Where do we stand with the case from your perspective today?
Interestingly enough, we had spoken briefly prior to going on the record with regard to the trial transcripts. My client informed me that he actually has the trial transcripts. So we were informed by the secretary from the prosecutor's office that they're waiting for them to be delivered. So we've got.
There's multiple volumes. I'm sorry, George. There's multiple volumes, and I just got a message saying that the final transcript should be done by October 19th. So we're getting them in as they're finishing each volume. So I don't know if he's getting them as each volume's been done or not, but we don't have the full transcript, like the full trial.
His hand up, Your Honor.
Right, so Mr. Cecil's raised his hand. I've sent a request to unmute there. Mr. Cecil, you might have to accept that or hit OK. Everybody's going to need some help with that, it looks like. Mr. Cecil, if you can hear me, that's unmuted now.
All right. I was gonna say I got all the volumes to the transcripts.
Okay, and how many is that total, Mr. Cecil?
I'm not for sure, but I got from beginning to the end. I went over it several times and it's all there. My previous attorney, Stanley Salad, gave it all to me. He came visited me about 3-4 weeks ago and gave it all to me.
I don't know.
Okay, well, we will look into that and see how many there are and whether any additional transcripts need to be prepared, or whether they've all been prepared and we just need to get copies of those to Mr. Lyons. But one way or another, we will make sure that happens in short order.
I understand there was also a couple of other co-defendants who had separate preliminary examinations. I would need those transcripts as well.
Okay, we'll provide those if they're not. I mean, I'll provide them again. So you got them on the drive, we'll have them twice.
Yeah, just make sure. All right. Respectfully, Your Honor, it's going to take me a while to review this. If I had no other cases and this was the only case in my practice, it would take me probably a month just to come up to speed. It's going to be a while. And we want to end the Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. So I would ask for a pretrial date, Your Honor, in January. I don't think that's being too unreasonable.
We would agree to that.
Okay, I think given the length of the trial and the amount of material that Mr. Lyons needs to review and bring himself up to speed on, that is a reasonable request. So I will set it then for a pretrial on January 17th at 8:15, if that date works for everyone.
This is good for me,
Sorry,
Judge.
January what?
January 17th.
Yes.
That's a good day for me, Your Honor, at 8:15.
Okay.
Good.
Ms. Wise, would you be willing to do a stiff in order for that adjournment?
Yes, I will.
Is there anything else we need to address with Mr. Cecil's case today?
No.
Just I would ask Mr. Lyons. I apologize. I was just gonna ask Mr. Lyons if you would like your client to be here in person since you have not met with him yet, or if you would rather have a Zoom.
Strangely enough, he's like 5 minutes from my office. He's in Jackson now. But he's closer to me now than he is there.
Yeah, Mr. Lyons, he's at Gus Harrison, not in Jackson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then yeah, let's get him written down there then.
Okay, so we'd like an in-person writ for him for the next hearing.
Sorry, I thought he said reception. No, he's at Gus Harrison.
All right, so I just want to confirm, Mr. Lyons, you'd like an in-person writ for him for the next hearing, is that right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Anything else we need to address today?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
We're good, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cecil. You can let the officer with you know that you're done with court for today.
Would I better talk to my lawyer real brief?
Oh, yeah, I'll put you in a breakout session with him right now.
Do they leave it on for people that are out here?
Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Torres?
We are, Your Honor. Thank you.
Oh, Jill, you still looking for Mr. Holmes. Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21561-FH, People versus Paul Manuel Torres. We're here today for a pretrial conference in this case. We are proceeding today partially in person and partially by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir.
E.B. Mir, map the people.
Thank you.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Torres this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Torres's case today?
At this time, Mr. Torres, Your Honor, has been offered a plea to an OWI second offense, and the felony would be dismissed in this matter. Your Honor, he wishes to avail himself of that plea, and I believe he has also been accepted to sobriety court in this matter. So we believe we would like to take that plea today, Your Honor. I believe I mentioned this last week. Has amended been prepared?
I just looked and it has not. I did request it last week. I do see my note requesting it, but it doesn't look like anyone did that. So if you give me a minute, I can work on that.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you'd like us to have a seat on that case.
All right, so we'll proceed then with that as soon as I have the amended information.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Mr. Malero, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Owley?
Your Honor, when you put us in the breakout room, I could not have a verbal conversation with Mr. Ali. I don't know if it was his end or what was going on.
Okay.
Couldn't hear him.
Take a look. Mr. Owley, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right. Let me try putting you in a breakout session again, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Mr. Ali, could you hear me when we were in the breakout? Hello?
Hello?
Mr. Ali, could you hear me?
Yeah, I
when
hear
we
you.
were in the breakout room.
No, I ain't hear you. I hear you now.
Okay, that wasn't my question. Could you hear me when I was in the breakout room with you?
No, I ain't hear you then, but I hear you now.
Yeah, so
I can, Judge.
yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. Give me just a second.
Your Honor, do we have Mr. Scott from the MDOC?
I do not. I do have Mr. Lefevre here.
I'm sorry,
I have Mr. Lefevre logged in.
Mr.
Lefevre?
Oh, I can vote him back, Your Honor.
Yeah, if you want to use the jury room, you can. You gonna need a breakout session with him?
Yeah, just a minute.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Hollis?
Sorry, yes, sir.
Okay, give us just a minute. Your attorney is with another client right now. As soon as he is ready for your case, I'll have him speak to you.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Lefevre, your attorney is logging in on her device right now. And as soon as she gets logged in, I'm going to put you in a breakout session with her.
Okay.
I need you to turn your TV off, Mr. Lefevre. It's causing background noise.
Oh, sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Malero, were you able to speak to Mr. Outley that time?
I was, Judge. Second time was a charm.
Okay. Are you ready to go on the record with his case then?
I am.
Okay, we are on the record then in file 23-21432-FH, People versus Harold Eugene Outley. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Mir.
BB Mir, on behalf of the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Harold Outley.
All right, and Mr. Malero, where do we stand with Mr. Outley's case today?
Your Honor, I'm still working on putting this case in a position for resolution. So I'm asking if we could adjourn this 1 month.
Okay, Ms. Mir, anything to address from the people's side?
No, nothing, Your Honor. We have no objection.
All right, so a month would take us to November 22nd at 8:15.
That's fine, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Malero, would you prepare a stipend order for that adjournment?
I would be happy to.
All right, so the only other thing I would say is that we're at 91 days since bind over on this case, and I would anticipate it setting for trial at the next pretrial if we haven't gotten it resolved by that time.
All right, thank you. That's good to know, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Outley, then you can go ahead and log out.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Malero, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Hollis?
Yes, Judge.
All right, if you'll give me about 10 seconds, I will get that set up for you. Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Lefever's case?
We are.
We are on record then in file number 23-21436-FH, People versus David Michael Lefever. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir.
PV Mayor on behalf of the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Lefever, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Lefever's case today?
I believe this case is pretty close to resolution, Your Honor. Mr. Fleming and I think, have a really good idea where this is going. So I would just ask for one more brief adjournment in this matter for us to get it nailed down.
Okay, Ms. Muir, anything to address from the people's side?
No, no objection.
All right, I'll set it then for November 22nd at 8:15.
And I will prepare the stipend adjournment.
Okay, and I would offer the same comments I did on the last case. We're at 90 days since find over, and so if we don't have it resolved at the next pretrial, I would anticipate setting it for trial at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lefever. You can go ahead and log out.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Your Honor, was there a writ done for Shane Scott?
There was. I'm just trying to see what we can do to follow up on that right now.
And Judge, you should have the amended info for Mr. Torres now.
Okay. All right, Ms. Underwood, if you want to come back to the courtroom, we have the information from Mr. Torres and we can proceed with that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Torres, you want to come forward? Okay, we are back on record in file 23-21561-FH, People versus Paul Manuel Torres. We are here today for the previous on record of pretrial conference. I believe Ms. Underwood stated the terms of the plea agreement on the record. Ms. Meir, was that a complete and accurate statement of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Torres, would you like to raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
I do.
And you are Paul Manuel Torres?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Torres, you've heard the statements of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today to count 2 on the amended information operating while intoxicated second offense?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood and the advice that she has given you?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that this is a misdemeanor and the maximum possible penalty for that offense up to 93 days in jail?
Yes, sir.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court other than as we've discussed it here today. Is that correct, Ms. Mayor?
That's correct.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. Torres?
Yes, sir.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. And explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and the court agreed, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and to have the witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. Do you understand, Mr. Torres, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to this plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right.
Yes, sir.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, sir.
Do you understand that you're giving those rights up?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about September 29 of 2019 in the city of Tecumseh, County of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of operating while intoxicated, second offense?
Yes, sir.
If you want to plead guilty, you need to say guilty.
Guilty.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to that charge?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, you'll be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record this morning?
Yes, sir.
And also you're giving up the claim that it's not your own choice to enter the plea.
Yes.
Is prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce Mr. Torres to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor. I would just ask if Mr. Torres could acknowledge one thing, or at least Ms. Underwood could acknowledge one thing as it relates to the amended information, that he was originally charged with an OWI third offense, and that the law allows us to charge an OWI third when there's been 3 or more OWIs in a lifetime, and typically only allows OWI seconds when they're 2 within 7 years. So I would just ask Ms. Underwood to waive any defect to him pleading the lesser charge of OWI second with a charge that's greater than 7 years old.
I understand, and Mr. Torres understands. He's pleading to the greater, to the lesser offense. In other words, he understands he meets the criteria for a third offense, but he's being given a second offense.
And
And,
then I would just ask Ms. Underwood to waive any defect in that information then.
we would waive that defect, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Torres, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be, other than as we've discussed it on the
No,
record
sir.
this morning?
No, sir.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Underwood, do you want to establish the factual basis?
Yes, one moment, please. Mr. Torres, back on September 29th, 2019, were you driving a motor vehicle on Evans and Russell Road, located in the city of Tecumseh, County of Lenawee, state of Michigan?
Yes.
And at that time, was your alcohol content 0.08 grams or more
Yes.
liters of breath?
Yes.
And you had been drinking, correct?
Yes.
And you had been previously convicted of operating while intoxicated on or about June 9th, 1993 in the 2A District Court. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that would satisfy a second offense under the OUIL third statute, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I believe I've established the factual basis, Your Honor.
The people
All right,
are judge.
Okay. Has the court complied with MTR 6.302 B, C, and D, Ms. Mir?
It has.
Ms. Underwood?
It has.
All right, I'll accept the plea then. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. Torres has had full knowledge of his rights and he's had competent counsel. I will, the court's not made any agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of any of them other than as we placed on the record this morning. I will refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation, and we will set sentencing for December 3rd at December 7th at 8:15 a.m.
Judge, this is a misdemeanor,
Correct,
so to be district court.
correct.
And I believe he's going to sobriety court as well, Your Honor. So
All right, so Mr. Torres, you'll need to report to Mr. McCarron in the district court probation office this coming Tuesday at 8 a.m. So that's on the first floor, this coming Tuesday, October 24th at 8 a.m.
Okay, sir, I need to write this down. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you kindly,
You're welcome.
Yeah, Mustang.
Okay, Mr. Malero, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Hollis?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, we do not have Mr. Scott logged in yet. If you want to go to Judge Anselm's court, we'll let you know if we get it.
okay, then I'm gonna go down the hall.
Okay. All right, we are on the record then in file 23-21407-FH, People versus William David Hollis. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, as well as a pretrial on a contempt of court. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. McCready.
Dave McCready from People.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of William Hollis.
All right, Mr. Malero, where do we stand with Mr. Hollis's case today?
Your Honor, Ms. McCready and I are trying to find a agreeable resolution. I've spoken to Mr. Hollis. I need to go speak to him at the jail either this week or next week if I can. So I'd ask to adjourn this out for anywhere from 3 weeks to 30 days.
That's fine with the people, Your Honor.
Three weeks is going to be November 8th at 8:15 a.m.
What date was that, Judge? November 5th?
November 8th
Oh, okay, great. That'd be good.
at 8:15. Mr. Malero, can you do that stip in order?
I can.
All right, and we are at 116 days since bind over on this case, so I would be setting that for trial at the next pretrial if we don't have a resolution.
Understood, Judge.
Mr. Hollis, you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today. Can you call for?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Malero, calling for Mr. Paulding right now.
Hello, Ms. Ellen, Judge Joseph. Could we push call? Thank you.
Ms. Arnold, were you just here for the Hendricks case?
No, Judge, I'm here for Paulding.
Oh, you're here for, okay. So I did see, I looked at the file, there is a nollie process in the Hendricks case, so
There
that
is.
shouldn't, we're all set there. Obviously. Okay, Mr. Malero, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Paulding?
Okay. Let me know.
Not unless he wants one, Judge.
Yeah, can we get a breakout?
Yeah, 1 second.
Whenever Mr. Murphy's ready to, we should have everything needed on Julia Betts's plea. There's two
Yeah.
amended informations and a plea agreement.
Yep, I've got all of that, and we can call for her next at the jail.
Okay.
We have Mr. Paulding and Mr. Malero back. So we are on the record in files 23-21326-FH and 23-21449-FH. People versus Bush Lee Paulding. We are here today for a pretrial conference. In each of those cases, we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Arnold.
Allison Arnold for the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Bush Paulding.
All right, Mr. Malero, where do we stand with Mr. Paulding's cases today?
Sure, I met with Miss Arnold last week and went to see Mr. Paulding last week. I think, as I understood it, I don't think anything's changed on state's situation. They're waiting on fingerprints to come back. We are looking into a DNA expert, so I'm going to ask to adjourn this out like 3 weeks or so.
All right, Ms. Arnold, anything we need to address from the people's standpoint?
No, Your Honor. I didn't send the prints out until the end of August at Mr. Malero's request. I think the prints may negate the need for a DNA expert. I think it'll help Mr. Malero and I discuss resolution of the case. So we agree an adjournment's appropriate.
Okay, let's go with November 15th at 8:15 a.m.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you,
Mr.
Judge.
Malero, that step in order again also.
I will.
Okay. All right, Mr. Paulding, you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today.
I thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Call for the minutes. All right, Mr. Murphy, we're calling for Ms. Betts right now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Morning, Mr. Megan, Judge will say first. Could we have Julia Betts and for the judge, please? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Glazer, we've got someone at the jail on their way to us right now, and then we'll call for Mr. Robinson next.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I'll need
Judge, I don't think I have anything further in your court. I'm going to leave if it's okay with you.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Malera.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, we have Ms. Betts here. Do you need a breakout session with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Scott?
Yes, I am.
Okay, your attorney went down the hall to another court, but we will, I'll try to send her an email right now and get her back here for your case.
Okay.
I'm just grabbing the trays.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, are you ready to proceed with Ms. Betts's case today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're on the record in file 22-21100-FH, 23-21264-FH, and 23-21519-FH. People versus Julia Rand Betts. We are here today for a pretrial conference, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Meir.
B.B. Meir, map of the people.
Matthew Murphy, appearing on behalf of Ms. Betts.
All right, and Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with Ms. Betts's cases today?
Your Honor, at this time, Ms. Betts wishes to enter a plea per the prosecution's offer. My understanding from the plea agreement, and I'll say that from my understanding is that on file 22-21100FH, Ms. Betts will plead to a count of larceny 1,000 to 20,000. On file 23-21264FH, she'll plead to an attempted possession of methamphetamine. And on file 23-21519FH, she'll plead to one count of uttering and publishing. The remaining counts and charges will be dismissed on these files. Again, she is entering a plea of guilty to those at this time.
Okay, Ms. Muir, is that a complete and accurate statement of the plea agreement?
The only thing I would add, Judge, is that there are 2 pending district court files. On 22032 SM, she would plead as charged, and on 221284 SM, it would be dismissed. And that's reflected in the plea agreement as well.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, you in agreement with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Betts, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are Julia Rand Betts?
Yes.
Ms. Betts, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today in file 22-21100-FH to count 2 on the amended information, larceny of $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000?
Yes.
It's also your intention to plead guilty in file number 23-21264-FH to count 3 on the amended information, attempted possession of methamphetamine?
Yes.
It's also your intention to plead guilty today in file 23-21519-FH to count 1, uttering and publishing?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Murphy and the advice that he's given you?
Yes.
Do you understand that the maximum possible penalty for the attempted possession of methamphetamine charges up to 5 years in prison and or a $7,500 fine?
Yeah.
Do you understand the maximum penalty for the larceny of $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000 charge is up to 5 years in prison and or a $10,000 fine or 3 times the value of the property stolen, whichever is greater?
Yes.
And you understand that the maximum possible penalty for the uttering and publishing charge is up to 14 years in prison?
Yes.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Ms. Muir?
That's correct.
Mr. Murphy?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding, Ms. Betts?
Yes.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial. If the prosecutor and the court agree, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have the witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. You understand, Ms. Betts, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial?
Yes.
You also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to this plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right?
Yes.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. You have any questions about any of those rights?
No.
Do you understand that you are giving those rights up?
Yes.
How do you wish to plead to the charge in file number 22-21100-FH that on or about August 9, 2022 in Madison Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, that you did commit the offense of larceny of $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000?
Guilty.
And how do you plead to the charge in file number 23-21264-FH that on or about September 6, 2022 in the city of Adrian, County of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of attempted possession of methamphetamine?
Guilty.
And how do you plead to the charge in file number 23-21519-FH that on or about September 28, 2022 in Madison Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, that you did commit the offense of uttering and publishing?
Guilty.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to those charges?
No.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that the pleas were given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record this morning, or that it was not your own choice to enter those pleas?
Yes.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce Ms. Betts to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Betts, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be?
No.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, do you wish to establish a factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, I'll go to file, first file 22-21100-FH. The larceny, 1,000 to 20,000. No, Ms. Betts, were you indeed in, Madison Township, County of Lenawee, State of Michigan on August 23rd, on about August 23rd, 2022?
Yes.
Okay, and actually previously to that date, had you engaged in a rental agreement with Enterprise Rent-A-Car to rent a vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, and would you agree the value of that vehicle was between $1,000 and $20,000?
Yes.
Okay, and did you fail to return that vehicle per the rental agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever returned that vehicle to Enterprise?
Yeah.
Okay, but at the time, how long did it take for you to return that vehicle?
14 days.
How long past the due date was that, do you recall?
Right. 13 days.
Okay.
Was that vehicle recovered by police?
It got picked up by a tow truck.
Okay, yeah. The people are
So you
satisfied.
You didn't voluntarily return that vehicle then?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Muir.
Yep, no problem. The people are satisfied with the factual basis on that file.
Okay, I'll move on to file 23-21264-FH. Ms. Betts, were you indeed in the city of Adrian, County of Lenawee, State of Michigan at the jail on September, was it 6, 2022?
Yes.
Okay, and on that date and time, did you indeed have in your possession a substance of methamphetamine?
Yes.
Did you know that it was methamphetamine?
Yes.
Okay, did you have any legal reason that you were aware of to possess that methamphetamine?
No.
Okay. I'm satisfied with the factual basis, Your Honor, on that file.
Yes.
Okay, now I'll move on to file 23-21519-FH. Ms. Betts, were you indeed in the city of Adrian? Was it city of Adrian on this file?
The Madison Township at the TLC Credit Union.
Were you indeed at that TLC Credit Union on January 9th, 2022?
Yes.
Okay, there
No,
was an
it would be.
I'm sorry, there was an investigation that was done, started that day, but were you at the TLC Credit Union on September 15th of 2022?
Yeah.
Now on that date, did you try to, or did you indeed pass a check that was not titled to you?
Yes.
Okay, was it actually a check that was belonging to a business called the Amber Monkey?
I'm not sure
Okay,
who that is, but yeah,
okay, but it obviously was not titled to you, correct?
yeah,
Okay, and at that time you got money from that check?
yeah.
Do you recall how much money you got?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Was that check made out to an Emma Shaw?
That's what the discovery package says, but that's not the check I cashed.
Which check did you cash?
The one with my name.
And who was the endorser on that check with your name on it?
It was the Moore's discount check.
Okay, and how much was that made out to?
I believe that one was 2,500.
And did you get the 2,500 or did they not allow you to cash it?
I got the 2,500.
And
my grandma paid it back.
And who was with you when you cashed that check?
Marley Bussing and Macy Wilt.
Was Hezekiah Hall with you?
No.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied with the factual basis.
All right, has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Ms. Muir?
It has.
Mr. Murphy?
yes, Your Honor.
I will accept the plea then. It's been the pleas, then they have been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Ms. Betts has had full knowledge of her rights. She has had competent counsel. The court's not made any agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of any of them. I will refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. And we can set sentencing for December 15th at 8:15 a.m. Ms. Betts, someone from the probation department is going to be in touch with you to do a pre-sentence investigation interview. When you do that interview, please be truthful about these offenses and about your background.
Okay.
Bond will be continued then as it currently is set. And Ms. Betts, you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Betts. Thank you, Your Honor.
Judges say, we have Mitchell Robinson and for judge. Thank you.
Dude, doesn't want to go now. Who is this? I got shit on. Sorry, you lost. See you, huh? And one back to 6.
Oh, sir. Okay, Mr. Glazer, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Robinson?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, Ms. Underwood, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Scott?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Scott, I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Ms. Underwood. Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Scott's case? All right, we are on the record in file 23-21437-FH, People versus Shane Champion Scott. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we're proceeding by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonetto.
Morning, Your Honor. Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Ron Underwood for Mr. Scott, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Scott's case?
Your Honor, the offer from the prosecution is as charged, no supplements. And I was wondering if we could, if now would be a good time to have a very brief Cobb's discussion between you, Mr. Bayonetto, and I. If the court could fit that in.
All right, Mr. Scott, I'm going to put you in the waiting room for just a couple of minutes.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Hi, Your Honor, just briefly. I've ran the guidelines and my estimate is 9 to 23 for the minimum, Your Honor. I think Mr. Bayonetto found something similar.
I got the same thing, Judge, 9 to 23.
Okay.
And I was wondering if the court would be willing to Cobb's to perhaps 12 months, Your Honor.
What did he do?
This is a. I'll defer to Mr. Bayonetto.
He essentially punched a guard a few times. The guard had his back turned to Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott came up behind him and punched him in the head a few times, and it was broken up fairly quickly. No documented injuries. I think the officer saw the doctor, but not no lasting injuries. Judge, I think we're still live on YouTube.